Hi, it's Bimerzen, and in this video I will show you how to fix a broken dashboard button on the E46 BMW using this smart little 3D printed part. So if you are unable to set the clock on your BMW or the push button function doesn't work, then this is the video for you, so let's get into it. So the button design on E46 BMWs and probably some other models too is very crappy. So this little push button or knob that you can rotate basically just presses against a piece of plastic that is part of the carrier of the dashboard. And after a while, when the plastic gets heat cycled, it gets stiff and it breaks. So this usually happens when you try to set the time or when you are trying to reset the odometer. So as you can see, I have no functionality and you are unable to set the time if this button here is broken. So I went online and I found this guy on the eBay that sells these 3D printed parts, and we have to remove the dashboard, disassemble it, and then put in this little 3D printed part, and that should give us back the functionality. So let's start. So first what you need to do is just remove a couple of screws up at the top. So one is here and one is on the other side. These are T15 Torx. Be careful not to scratch anything. And now you can pull out the dashboard. Be careful you don't scratch anything. So there are a couple of connectors you have to disconnect. They have a security latch, so you have to press on this part here and then you will be able to just slowly rotate the latch and the connector slides out. And it's the same here on the other side. So you have to press this in and then you will be able to release the latch like this. And the connectors are disconnected and the dashboard is out. Now we have to remove a couple of screws at the back. They are T10 Torx. Now we can remove this back cover. Now we can take out the dashboard circuit. So yeah, we have to remove the buttons before we do that. So we just pull them out like this. And now the dashboard should come out. And here it is. Now one very important thing is you don't touch anything, otherwise you will have dirt or fingerprints on the dashboard. So try to work cleanly and not touching anything. So I'm going to put this away. And here we can see where the problem is. So this is the button. I'm going to pull it out. And as you can see, it has two tabs on the side, and those two tabs should press on these plastic pieces here, and the plastic pieces are pressing against the button. So it's a really weird arrangement, and as you can see on my dashboard, the pieces are missing here. The 3D printed part basically just goes in like this, and it replaces these two tabs that press against the buttons. When you do that, make sure that you find the missing pieces. So usually the pieces break and they get stuck inside of the dashboard. They can rattle or get in the way of other things. So just try and get the pieces out. Now I already did that, so I know they are empty. Another very common issue on the dashboard is this button here. So when you go and press down, there is another push button here. And if you press it too hard, this piece here breaks off and then you lose the functionality of resetting the odometer. So we're going to fix that as well. I'm going to try and remove this plate here so I can get some more space. It should just pop off. And now you can see all three buttons, and this 3D printed part should just fit in like this. Now we have to do some preparations before. So we have to remove these two tabs here because we don't need them anymore. I'm going to use pliers and break off the tabs. Again, I have to be careful. Make sure that none of the pieces fall in. As you can see, the plastic is so brittle, it's just completely useless now. Now you can use a scalpel and just cut off the rest of the tabs. Again, you have to be very careful not to damage anything or touch anything. Okay, now I'm going to try and get all the little pieces of plastic out. You can give it a bit of a shake. Now let's try and insert the 3D printed part. Okay, this looks quite nice. And as you can see, it looks like this part is fitting perfectly into the dashboard. So good job, the eBay seller that I will link down in the description. So I hope that you can order from him and give him some support. This is a very good job. Now we have to fix the pins on the third button, and I also have the same issue here on this side. So both of the pins are broken. So here is the solution to the broken pin problem, or the third button. So this is how it looks like when it's broke. As you can see, there is a pin missing on the top. And this is what I did. So I drilled 2mm hole, and then I used a piece of 2mm aluminum wire from a coat hanger, and I've bent it 90 degrees. So this is now the replacement for the broken pin, and when I insert it into the dashboard, you can see that I can now push the middle button, and I can also rotate the button. So this is the solution. I think it will work. I will put the dimensions that are required for this hack down in the description, so you can make it yourself. I think it's not too complicated and it's an easy fix. So here is the other button, and I also made a quick drawing. So this dimension here is about 10mm, and then you have 4mm of depth, and this is for a 2mm piece of wire. And if you need to, you can bend the wire up or down a little bit so you can get it just right. As you can see, I did have to bend it down a little bit, and now it's really good, it works. Okay. Now let's test everything once again to make sure that everything is working. So the dashboard is back together. Now I'm going to put back the rubber pins. If I press the button, it works. If I rotate it clockwise, I can hear the button pressing, and then if I rotate it counterclockwise, I can also hear that the button is working. Now, operation is not as good as original, but still it works, so I think this will be just fine. And this button here is only a push button, so there shouldn't be any issues. Okay, now I'm going to put back the plates and screw back the cover. Okay, it's ready to be installed. Connectors are back on the dashboard, and now it's time to put it back in. Of course, be careful not to scratch anything. And make sure that the cables at the back are not snagging on anything. So this should be okay. Now let's test the function. So I'm going to put the ignition on position 1. Now let's see if the clock button works. Oh yeah, it works. Good result. Now we have the clock back. Let's try another direction. And the time decreases, so I can call this a success. Now let's see if the push button works. Yeah, it does. You can see that it switches between 24-hour format or 12-hour format. So this works. Now let's see the left button. If I press it down for 5 seconds, I should get into the test mode, and it works. And we can cycle through the menus. So now we just have to put back the 2 torque screws, and we have our dashboard back. So I hope this video was helpful for you and that you will be able to fix your dash buttons. So thanks for watching. Consider subscribing if you have E46 BMW with N42 or N46 engine. And in the meantime, keep zen and continue the art of BMW maintenance. Now let's set the clock.